Hello, my friend. I'm glad you've returned. Before we start, take a moment to arrive. Inhale, slow, steady, until you can feel your ribs expand. Then exhale, as if you're setting something heavy down. Let the breath leave you without force. Let it take a little noise with it. Good. Now, let's begin. Why do we cling to things we know we must eventually let go of? It's one of the oldest human questions, and maybe one of the most painful. We know, in the quiet truth of our hearts, that everything changes, that nothing and no one stays forever, and yet we keep holding on to people, moments, identities, beliefs, even pain. We hold so tightly that sometimes our hands tremble. It's strange, isn't it? We live in a world that keeps teaching us impermanence, yet we continue to grasp as if permanence were possible. Maybe it starts early. As children, we learn that the things we love can disappear. A toy lost, a pet gone, a parent leaving the room. The ache of absence leaves its first mark, and somewhere inside, a small part of us promises never to feel that ache again. We grow up, but that vow stays. We start clinging not because we're greedy, but because we're scared. To hold on feels like safety. To let go feels like falling. But life keeps asking us to fall again and again. Every relationship ends, one way or another, through distance, change, or time. Every season turns. Every version of ourselves fades into another. The heart knows this truth, but the hands resist it. They tighten around what's passing, as if enough pressure could stop the clock. And yet, the more we tighten, the more we suffer. There's a quiet cruelty in holding on to what wants to move on. It's like gripping a rope that's being pulled from the other side. The harder you hold, the deeper it burns. So why do we do it? Maybe because holding on feels like proof that something mattered. Letting go can look like betrayal, like saying it didn't mean enough to keep. But maybe meaning doesn't depend on permanence. Maybe love and value aren't measured by how long they last, but by how fully we lived them while they were here. Think about a sunset. You don't curse it for ending. You watch it fade and whisper gratitude, knowing it will never be the same again. But when it comes to people, or dreams, or pieces of ourselves, we beg the sky to stay. We cling because we confuse endings with erasure. But nothing truly vanishes. It just changes form. Love becomes memory. Joy becomes wisdom. Presence becomes echo. Letting go isn't about forgetting. It's about allowing transformation. I once met someone who told me that grief was like carrying a stone in your pocket. At first, it's sharp and heavy. It cuts into you every time you move. But as time passes, your hand touches it again and again until it smooths. It's still there, but it no longer wounds. That's what letting go looks like. Not absence, but gentleness. Still, we resist. Because to let go means to admit that we are not in control. That we can love deeply and still lose. That we can try our hardest and still not keep what we hoped for. There's humility in that kind of surrender, the kind most of us aren't taught. We grow up in a world that worships holding on to success, to youth, to identity, to story. We build our sense of self from things that are meant to move, and when they do, we panic. But here's the quiet truth. Letting go isn't the same as losing. Sometimes it's the only way to make space for what's next. When a tree sheds its leaves, it isn't dying, it's preparing for renewal. When you exhale, you don't mourn the air leaving your body. You trust it will return. Letting go is nature's rhythm. Holding on too tightly is the human interruption. We cling to people because we're afraid of emptiness. We cling to pain because we mistake it for proof that what happened was real. We cling to identities because we fear becoming invisible. But all these things, love, pain, self, they keep evolving, whether we approve or not. The current moves, and we can either flow with it or fight until exhaustion drags us under. I know that feeling of fighting, that quiet panic when you sense something slipping away, someone you love, a time of life that felt right, a dream you built your days around. You try to bargain with it, you promise change, you pretend it's not happening, but deep down, the truth hums like an old song. Nothing stays. At first, that thought feels cruel. Then, slowly, it starts to feel sacred. Because if everything were permanent, nothing would mean anything. The beauty of life comes from its passing, the sweetness of a kiss, the warmth of a summer night, the trembling joy of laughter. They all shine precisely because we know they can't last. To let go is to honor impermanence instead of fighting it. It's saying, I was lucky to have held this at all. There's a story, maybe you've heard it, of a monk who carried water from a river in a fragile clay bowl. One day, the bowl cracked. The other monks expected him to be upset, but he smiled and said, "It was already broken." He didn't mean it with despair. He meant he had loved the bowl fully, knowing its fate. Everything is already broken in that sense, already changing, already on its way to somewhere else. When we live with that awareness, our love becomes freer. We stop trying to trap time. We stop demanding that moments prove their worth through endurance. We can love without ownership. We can remember without clinging. We can say goodbye without collapsing. But this kind of peace doesn't come quickly. It comes after the ache. It comes after nights of wanting what's gone, after conversations that replay in the mind, after the slow acceptance that the story has turned a page. Letting go is not a single act. It's a daily decision. Every morning you wake and choose not to reopen the wound. Every night you soften a little more into the truth. And one day you notice that the thought of it no longer hurts. It simply exists, like a photograph that has stopped glowing but still holds light. We fear letting go because it feels like death. But it's really a kind of rebirth. Every ending clears the ground for something new to grow. And even if that something new is only a deeper quiet, that quiet is still alive. You can still miss what you release. You can still love what you no longer have. Letting go doesn't erase connection. It simply shifts it from possession to gratitude. When you look back, notice how many times you've already survived this. The friendships that faded, the dreams that changed, the selves you used to be. You've been practicing letting go your whole life. You just didn't call it that. So maybe the next time something begins to leave, a person, a season, an identity, try softening your grip instead of tightening it. Whisper a thank you. Let it go with the dignity of love instead of the noise of resistance. You will still grieve, yes, but grief can be a kind of praise, proof that something touched you deeply enough to leave an echo. In the end, letting go is not about detachment, it's about trust. Trust that what's meant to stay will stay without force. Trust that what's gone has left its lesson. Trust that emptiness is not the opposite of fullness, but its beginning. Take another slow breath. Inhale. Feel what's still here. Exhale. release what isn't. And in that small motion, remember, this is the rhythm of life itself, holding, releasing, again and again, until the act of letting go no longer feels like loss, but like participation in something greater, something fluid, alive, and endlessly becoming. Thank you for being here, for giving yourself this moment to reflect. Stay gentle, stay curious, and stay kind. And if this question spoke to you, continue your journey with us on Yarven's Questions. More stories, more reflections, and more quiet truths are waiting for you. Take care, my friend. Until next time.